What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed and I am back today with yet another video for you all. Sorry again, I am keeping my voice a little lower because I am again on vacation visiting some family, but regardless, let's go ahead and get to the video. So today I want to talk about Paysafe because it is actually officially going public via a SPAC merger with Bill Foley's BFT. As you're all probably aware, I talked about this one earlier in December of last year, actually, in anticipation for a Q1 merger. So currently, if you go on SPAC track here, let me make my screen a little smaller. Let's pull that here and bring this down so you guys can see my screen a little better. But you can see here, Thursday, March 25th, I use SPACtrack.net, and they state here that BFT shareholder meeting to approve business combination with Paysafe. We know there's a lot of anticipated Q1 mergers this year in 2021, including things like ChargePoint, and the list goes on. I can't think of them off the top of my head. CCIV. That's one that people were anticipating pretty heavily. Although it's not a Q1 merger, regardless, it is a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company. But regardless, the reason I'm super excited about BFT is because, again, there was a pretty decent pullback. So unlike other SPACs that run up to about $30 usually before the merger, and then a huge sell-off occurs, we see that BFT currently, or Bill Foley's acquisition corp, Foley Transmine acquisition, is currently at $16.15. So in my opinion, I think this is extremely undervalued for a SPAC like this one. Remember, everybody, my channel is not for financial advice. Rather, I try to put you guys on the plays that I'm in and ones that I see have long-term potential. So if we go back to, originally when I talked about this one, I talked about it at 11.75, which of course is a better entry point. So we always discuss what are good entry points for stocks before we buy into them. So if we look at the technical analysis of BFT, you can see there's pretty strong support lines at 13.86. And of course, right around $10 because that's the bottom of any SPAC. So again, if we see it ever pull back in the next few days closer to that 13.86, that's a more comfortable entry point that I would recommend, for others. But regardless, right now at the current value of, let's see here, 16.15, BFT, in my opinion, is extremely undervalued and it has a long way to go. Look at it, again, the SPAC merger is anticipated to be about a $9 billion merger. Current market cap is $2.96 billion. So let's look at Paysafe's direct competitor, which is PayPal. A lot of people are saying that Paysafe is the next PayPal, or at least it's going to be in the same leveling field. Sure, PayPal has a longer track record, it has a more substantial consumer base. I absolutely agree with that. But regardless, you can look at PayPal's market cap, $286 billion, relative to BFT, currently as a SPAC, a little less than 3, valued to up to $9 billion. So in my opinion, again, that is what we would call something extremely undervalued that has, between 5 to 10x potential in the long term. Because again, if we go on their website here and you could look, what are the industries that they already serve? Direct marketing, education industry, field services, government and utilities, healthcare, iGaming, right? We know Roblox just IPO'd. Paysafe is a huge platform that is used as, again, to trade currencies, things like that within the Roblox community. So if we know all these facts about Paysafe, why aren't people jumping on board? Well, more likely than not, we know since the beginning of 2021, there has been kind of this SPAC phase out, and people have been looking at diversifying their portfolios, leaving the SPAC hype, because again, there was such a focus on electric vehicles going public via SPAC mergers, and then that bubble, if you will, popped. And as soon as it did so, we saw other great companies or great SPACs that have very, very strong anticipated mergers also take a fall. So again, what do we always consider sell-offs or things that are dropping in price? Potential buying opportunities, right? That's the theme of this channel. That's the theme of my videos all the time. Try to get you guys on the plays that have the most potential and the most bang for your buck. So currently at 1924, down about 60% from its all-time high in mid-January. It bottomed out at 13.95 back in March when the entire market pulled back pretty dramatically and drastically, but regardless, up about 15% since. So I still think between now and the merger date, this might be a good entry point. If you're more comfortable getting in after the merger, because we tend to see with SPAC cycles, a typical sell-off as soon as a SPAC merger occurs. The people who are just awaiting the merger, selling the news, if you will, there might be a slight sell-off or even a significant one depending on the market conditions at the time. So with all that being said, keep BFT on your watch list. If you're someone that's invested early on like myself, look to potentially maybe take some profits in the short term. For me, I'm not looking to do so at all. I'm actually going to be holding very long term for BFT because I'm very bullish on the company. I'm bullish on their fundamentals and even the people who are, their management and things of that nature. And we know, again, with Paysafe, in general, we're moving away from this whole, cash idea between, exchanging money and currencies, cash to cash, things of that nature, more into this online version of currency exchange and things of that. So with Paysafe and PayPal and things alike, they all are going to hopefully capitalize in the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to see the continued growth and momentum. Look at this. I only touched on some of the industries that they're working with. E-commerce, of course, subscription-based, restaurants, property management, the list goes on. So do your own research, of course, do your own due diligence, look into the company, try to find out, whether or not it kind of aligns with your interests. Because again, not only should it align with interests that you might have, but also, look at the future outlook. What are we going to see in the next 5 years? What are we going to see in the next 10 years? Because again, you don't want to buy something that's going to be stagnant, for the next decade, rather something that might have some linear or exponential gains over the short term and long term as well. So regardless, again, the website I did use on the video today was SPAC. Just so you guys are aware, I'm not affiliated with them by any means, but I really like the fact that they have a SPAC calendar that shows you when companies are going public. So some other ones like last week, NBAC, they just had their meeting to approve the business combination with Nuve. So you guys know that that's one that's been anticipated, again, in the EV space. But this one here with Paysafe, outside the EV space, but again, we saw a pretty strong sell-off since its all-time high. So potentially keep this on your watch list. I'm looking to hopefully get in more shares tomorrow or the day after, Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on, again, how the market acts the next couple days leading up to the anticipated merger. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to use the Webull link below if you do want to buy. If you deposit $100, you do get 2 free stocks with your deposit. It helps out the channel significantly and also helps out your pockets because you get 2 free stocks as well. So it's a win-win situation. And lastly, I do want to talk about the merch that dropped recently. So if you're not aware, we did launch a merch line, and it's something that's actually pretty new. We still are yet to grow it, and scale it up. But regardless, we're at the beginning part. But if you go on Teesprings, you can see and in the link below, you can see kind of in a little banner type setup at the bottom of the screen. But that there shows you all the different types. So right now it's limited to hoodies, a few shirts, face mask, I think, in a phone case. So pretty cool. Again, shout out to the wife one more time for coming up with the design and actually free drawing it, which I think it turned out really, really nice. So cop some merch. I copped mine, just waiting for it to come. There's about a 2-week shipping and handling type wait, but again, it just makes it that much better by the time it gets to us. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, and until next time, keep investing.